Hello everybody and welcome to my channel Almost Home Creates. Today I'm going to be walking you through my process of how I make my velvety satin looking resin coasters. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to pour some resin that you've mixed real well and let sit for a few minutes into a set of coasters, and you only want to fill them about halfway full because basically you're going to do a double pour in this, and so just fill them halfway full. After you're done filling your coasters and you have popped your bubbles, you're going to go ahead and add a plastic layer on top. And I just cut my Ziploc bags in half and used half a bag on each one and just kind of lightly laid it on top at first and just put one on top of each coaster. And after I did that, what you're going to try to do is slowly put your plastic into your resin so that it's touching all the surfaces. Now, here's what I've learned is that you really cannot rush this part of the process because you want to slowly make sure that each surface is touching the resin, and it will cause some air bubbles. So it's a practice of picking up and getting air bubbles pushed out through the sides of the plastic and making sure that you have popped as many of them as you possibly can. And when you are happy with how they look, you want to let it sit at this stage and cure until they are close to being as hard as you want them to be. You might want to let them have a little bit of pliability because sometimes you have a ridge that comes up that's a little high, and it's easier if you can just trim that off to make sure that the whole back is covered. And now I've let it sit and I'm pulling the plastic off, and as you notice, in most of the places it comes off pretty easily, but if you kind of get it mashed under some spaces, you will have some difficulty getting it out. And you can see a couple of ridges on each of these that's a little higher than the side of the coaster. So what I will do is go through and with a small little knife, I'm going to take off all those extra ridges and make sure that it is the size of the coaster and that it will be covered with our second layer. Now that I am done with trimming it, I'm going to be adding my mica powders. Into the first one, I am adding this coffee color, and then to the second one, I'm adding a red, and I don't know the exact name of the red because it came in a big pack, and the back had listed all the names, and I did not keep it, so I don't remember what color it's called. So that's going in the second one. And then in the third one, I am adding what is called a sparkling bronze mica powder. And then in the fourth one, I'm adding just a regular bronze powder. And after you add your mica powders, you can just use a brush and spread it all around in the bottoms and make sure that you have very good coverage in each of them. And as you can see, I've just sped this part up a little bit since it's pretty easy to see exactly what I'm doing, just so you don't have to sit through the whole thing in slow motion. After you have your mica powders nicely distributed in each of your coasters, you are going to be ready to pour the resin. There is no point to wait at this stage. You can pour right away. I have already mixed up my black resin, and I had the amount that I needed left to fill each one ready to go, and I just fill up each coaster as I go and then smooth it over with my stick to get it to cover each of the little crevices and make sure that I have it going over all the little places it comes up out of the coaster, just to make sure that I have no air bubbles coming through and that it's filling in all those little air spaces. This is the last step of this process. So after you have everything spread out and ready to go, just make sure that you cover them while they dry so that no dust and particles get stuck in the resin while it's drying, and let them harden at least 12 to 24 hours depending on the kind of resin you have and how the temperature in your house, etc., or wherever you are pouring. And at that point, you should be done. Just make sure you pop any bubbles that come up. And here we are back at the next day, ready to take them out, and I am very happy with this. I see some air bubbles, so I definitely could have put the plastic in better, but there's always next time for that. And I absolutely love the red one. I think this one is my absolute favorite out of the whole bunch. And now you will see the This is the sparkling bronze one, and I believe that I mixed up the order, and the next one is actually the coffee colored one, and the first one I undid was the actual bronze colored one. So this is what I think the coffee one turned out as. And I like it, but they're kind of similar in color, so I wish that maybe I'd used a slightly different color, but overall, I still just love the effects of these. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching, and if you liked it, please like and subscribe for more, and I will see you next time. Thanks again.